on this, from this perspective, NTA is directed to clarify on the basis of the material which is in its possession as of date on the following issues. Bracket 1. When the leak of the question papers has first taken place. 2. The manner in which the question papers were leaked or disseminated. Semicolon. Bracket 3. Duration between the time duration between the occurrence of the leak and the actual conduct of the examination, which took place at 2 p.m. between 2 p.m. and 5:20 p.m. on 5 May 2024. The second, while making the full stop, on the above aspect, we are also of the view that since the investigation has been entrusted to the CBI, the status report should be filed by the investigating officer before this court, indicating the status of indicating
partner. For me, that's a core.
The status of the investigation up to date and the material which has come to light during the course of the investigation. But one may when the leak first was first noticed. Karlo. The investigating officer shall, in particular, indicate to this court, shall place before this court material which has been gathered during the course of the investigation, which would have a bearing on when the leak is alleged to have first taken place, the modalities in which the leaked question papers were made available. Stop. On the second perspective, the second aspect on which we NTA shall give disclosure to this court is in regard to the steps which have been taken so far for identification of the beneficiaries of the leak. In this regard, the court will be apprised area of the following. Bracket 1. How many students? What were the steps which were taken by NTA to identify the centers / cities at which the leak took place? 2. The modalities followed for identifying the beneficiaries of the leak. And 3. The number of students who have so far been identified to be the beneficiaries of the leaked question papers. Likewise, the investigating officers
may say a stroke authority, because identification may not be within our.
All right. The above information, I'll clarify while editing. I'll put it so that It will be more the Ministry of Home Affairs or some other body.
Whichever, but
Not the leak will be at one place. At how many centers the leak paper has been made available? Because
Yeah.
leak will be in the
That's
entire
okay.
system at one place.
No, we have said that dissemination also we have
Yes,
said.
definitely.
Yes, sir.
The investigating officer shall also submit a status report bearing on the above aspects.
yes,
Well, it's one
one point.
Third,
Yeah.
the third aspect on which it is necessary to have a further disclosure by the union government as well as by NT. We'll say union government and NT is whether it is possible by the union government and NT is whether it would be is on whether
Technically feasible.
yeah, whether it would be feasible using the using data analytics either within the cyber forensic unit or any other expert agencies within or which may be employed by the government to identify cases where suspect cases would stop. For instance, these cases may involve full stop. This may be if this is possible, the authorities shall identify before the court identify the modalities which can be followed so as to segregate the tainted from the untainted students. Next. The third aspect on which uh, we would, we would require a disclosure is in regard to the modalities to be followed uh, between the conclusion of the examination, including the retest which was held for 1563 students, and the actual commencement of the counseling process. Full stop. If an exercise is to be conducted by the NTA and by the union government so as to reduce any further beneficiaries of the question paper leakage, a considered decision at the policy level would have to be taken by the government on whether counseling should be allowed to proceed in the meantime
Yes, thank
or
you.
otherwise.
May not say that.
On the status of the counselor. Fourthly, the court is concerned about the steps which should be taken thereafter to ensure the sanctity of the uh, national eligibility come entrance test, so that such instances which have transpired during the course of the present session are not repeated in the future. In this regard, just one second, please. In this regard, it would be necessary for the government to consider setting up a multidisciplinary team consisting of renowned experts who command the wider confidence of the community to ensure that due measures are being taken to obviate any further breaches in the Neet in the future. Let's stop. If a committee has already been set up by the government for deducing the steps to be taken for the future, full details shall be made available to the court. Full stop. The court may then consider whether the committee which has been constituted by the government should be allowed to proceed as it is, whether the composition of the committee should be
Modified.
should be
Cannot be determined.
Enhanced.
It is only
be
considered.
sufficiently enhanced to
That
bring
may not be there.
so as to bring together a pool of talent from diverse fields bearing not only on administration but also on domain expertise and data analytics.
So Lords, I have only one sanction.
Learned Solicitor General and Mr. Kaushik, Learned Senior Counsel appearing, Solicitor General appearing for the Union of India, and Mr. Kaushik, Learned Senior Counsel appearing for the NTA, have requested the court to place the further hearing on Thursday ka date, so as to enable them to make their to file the material in pursuance of the above queries by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Full stop. The affidavit, the affidavit shall be shared with counsel appearing on behalf of the petitioners simultaneously. The report of the investigating officer of the CBI shall also be placed on the record in the meantime.
May I be only be clear to say one aspect?
So, I'll tell you why. Let there be, the reason why we are asking for this disclosure, whatever view we ultimately take, let there be confidence in the community that,
Absolutely.
that
We are very.
Lords, I have only one.
Share your lordship's views.
Allowed, man.
The entire. Lords, can I make one? May I request that the copy will serve to us as well?
in view of the large number of counsel who are appearing on the side of the petitioners, we have requested that it has been agreed who will be the nodal counsel.
Whomsoever filed.
Huh?
Whomsoever, Lord. Mr. Suvik Sharma, my Lord, who is
Independently sometime.
All right. Shall act as nodal counsel.
Yeah.
All the counsel for the petitioners who are desirous of pressing their submission for a retest shall file a common set of submissions not exceeding 10 pages by before the hearing takes place on Thursday ka date.
My lords, kindly allow the implement application, my lord.
The petitioner on this side, my lord, can it be also be?
Time of loss, my lord.
Submissions. On this side, because there's a fact that
You are being supported by these.
I appreciate, but I also want to get out the fact that happened in our case in Gujarat. Here, all cases where they
Why
were
don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Give us a short one-page note. That will be more.
very well. Very.
And as wherever your lordships have said petitioners, there are transfer petitions where we are essentially respondents.
And this is beyond the leak, my lord. Beyond the leak also.
Yes, my lord, there is also a
They have changed the answer also. Allah, they have changed answer of one question and allotted the number, my lord.
yes, my lord. In fact, it's happened in my case also, wherein there are 3 answers. When it's
Mr. Solicitor, we have not specifically in our order included the red flags. If you can just
We have understood.
right. I deliberately didn't put it into our order, but you can just see whether there are some cases like that which you can identify. You see, so that then
we have filed.
I'd like to place
These have been served. Perhaps they are not given copies. The other ones who are intervening or etc.
what we would suggest is what you give us on Thursday. Give to us, and one more thing, what you give us on Thursday, make it comprehensive so that we don't have to wait through your counters and everything. We just look at that basically.
And as may I make one small request.
We've now chalked out our roadmap.
Lord, our
If we can, using whatever technology, common sense, and our understanding of the law, identify the wrongdoing students. We then don't have to ask 23 lakh students to again appear for the exam. If we have no other go, of course we are there too.
for us to file that once
Kindly allow the implement application.
for us to file that one page of
38.
our diary number to be
Which is
recorded.
that matter? Neat matter.
Lord,
My
Lord, our
All right. Yes, there are 3 other matters which we have to take. Sorry.
My lord,
Lord, our diary number may be noted, so
My lord.
file the page. Our diary number may be noted.
All right. Any other fresh matters on Neet which were not on board?
Yes, my lord.
After we rise, you can give the matters numbers to the court master. He'll bring them on board.
my lords, kindly allow the implement application.
One more thing, Mr. Solicitor, has everybody served their petitions on the council date?
But we have not
All right.
replies, my lords.
All right. Once again, the council appearing for all the petitioners, council appearing for all the petitioners, interveners, shall serve copies on whom should we say?
Central, MK Maroria.
On Shri M.K. Maruria and Mr. Vardhaman Kaushik, counsel instructing the Solicitor General, and Mr. Kaushik, R.C. Kaushik, respectively. The two counsel appearing on behalf of the two counsel, Mr. Maroria and Mr. The Union of India and the NTA shall prepare a tabulated statement indicating for each petition, tabulated statement grouping the petitions into distinct categories so as to facilitate disposal. So what you can do is those which are asking for a retest, you can put in one category. Then individual grievances, then we'll see whether those grievances can be entertained, whether we ask you to look into it, what to do. But we'll have one tabulated chart on petitions.
Make it easier.
May I just request one indulgence?
That's why we said, therefore you serve a copy on the solicitors.
But they have changed answer also. They have changed answer of one and have given the more marks to 13,000 students.
Medical
That created problem for my ranking is concerned.
Look, this is nothing. Therefore, those petitions we may have to dealing. They are individual petitions. Those are individual petitions where you say you have a medical condition, you should have been given extra time. We'll deal with it separately. It does not deal with the sanctity of the examination. That's individual students' petition.
This order should not be deemed to be as restricting only to the case of leak, because between the.
Not at all. In fact, that's why we finally said this.
For the reason, my lords, on the 8th, while the exam was announced for the 5th, my lords, of May, on the 8th of April, overnight, my lords, they brought about a notification that there will be a window open for students who could not register for the exam way back on 16th of March. Now, this window that they opened, my lords, is absolutely difficult to understand.
So more students registered.
And
25,000 and
That began now.
Fellows, I'm appearing in item
To do with
request for 1 second of indulgence. Fellows,
Look,
there are
more students registering, etc. How can we
no suspect, because the initial advertisement
we'll
never.
hear you? We'll hear you on that. We'll
Yeah.
hear you on that.
the entire result, the entire comprehensive result should be put on the website. Right now, what's happening is individual results only are put up. So somebody has to go. So we can't.
Mr. Kaushik, the entire result, except for those which you have, we will say that these results shall not give rise to any equities or legal rights. But you must at least now upload the result.
Yes, the entire results,
The result,
comprehensive.
the
Data science can work here.
1 second.
the revised result of 1563 and the rest of the persons, all has been uploaded on 30th. No.
Individually.
But do you have
They have
uploaded?
So that is why we can't use data science. That's the problem. If they are deliberately keeping
under wraps.
This would, your lordships may take a call on that on Thursday. But there is something,
We'll apply mine carefully on.
Please, my lord.
kindly, my lord.
I know it has also moved certain transfer. Fellows, the NTS
Maybe the
Acha won't
track
happen.
record,
Huh?
track record of the toppers may be also looked at.
Withdrawn. Already, yeah, right.
Oblige.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. 35. Parmeshwar, the reason we kept your matter today was, now, we knew that we can't take it up today, but what is the scope now, this All India judges?
It's,
I appear in item 35.
your lordship,
My IA alone has been.
Only his eye is there.
so what's happened, Manoj, your lordships have put it up for compliance today. Your lordships, orders for the past 2 years have not been complied with. At least 8 or 9 states have not released pension and allowance arrears, even though your lordships on multiple occasions extended the time limit for payment of those allowances.
So-
That's not been complied.
Should we just take up on Thursday the issue of compliance there?
That's right. Thursday. So that's also far as compliance is concerned.
Compliance.
On the main, there was only one substantive issue.
Pension.
It's pension, the old pension scheme versus new pension scheme. That's the only substantive issue, and that because there are conflicts.
How long will we take on
Because
that?
all the submissions that are compiled and have been put in, I will take about 2-3 hours to explain the consequences of shifting from the old, and also to explain why
We'll have to take it up on a Tuesday, I
There
think.
we will have to argue.
Yeah.
there's substantial argument from the state and
So we'll take it up on a Tuesday. So this, what we'll do is today we'll keep your matter on Thursday, only for compliance of the payment of allowances, etc. by the state. That the union has no role.
124 order for
For
compliance.
124 order. So we'll keep that on the Thursday. We'll take up the issue of compliance.
There is an IA listed today, Millets. There is an IA listed today. There is a fresh IA listed today.
Three countries, Kerala, West Bengal, and Odisha, Malad. They have passed the circular Malad, according to the Malad's order.
That's right.
That is what Parmeshwar is also arguing. No difficulty.
Amicus is-
May I
Mike is there.
Today there is an IA minutes that
item
with that
38.
superannuation. Millets, the High Court has submitted an application before your lordships, and also the state government has given its willingness that it could be extended. It only requires your lordship's imprimatur.
Parmeshwar.
That could be taken up on Thursday.
It can be taken up on Thursday.
All right, just surprise us on Tuesday.
Thursday.
At the fag end of the day now.
Minutes,
We'll
Thursday.
take it up on
Keep it.
Thursday.
Otherwise, they would be
IA
retired.
numbers just give. Chetan.
Yes, we'll give that.
Okay, first part never fixes. Thank you.
Take it up on
Yeah,
Thursday.
whenever it's got. 38.
Yeah, my lords, your lordship. This refers to the National Commission, your lordship.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving time. It refers to the National Commission on Allied Healthcare Professionals. It was already notified in 2021.
And we had issued notice in this on 22nd.
Your lordship,
September
it was issues, the notices were issued in September last year.
What has happened now?
But till now, about 19 states, parties have not even entered appearance, your lordship. And only 6 have only just filed their, 6 states have actually filed their, replies so far.
Can you give us a little tabulated chart? We can keep it on Thursday.
Can we do it on next Monday, your lordship?
Okay, we can do it. We can take it up on Monday.
Monday.
If you can just give us a tabulated note.
Yes.
So that which are the states which have implemented, which have not, and
Yes.
which are the states which have not filed reply.
Absolutely.
We'll give them one last opportunity, or to ask the chief secretaries to remain present or something like that. So they'll file their reply.
Your lordship, 3 years, it was actually done. I'll just take you 30 seconds. This was actually done primarily after the COVID pandemic, after the first wave. And we did not have a national register to know how many allied healthcare workers were there in this country. And after 3 years of passing of this legislation in the parliament, even now, it hasn't been actualized, your lordship.
All right. So we'll
Extremely serious.
pass comprehensive directions on Monday next.
Thank you, lordship.
After you give us a note, you can just sort of also identify what are the proposed directions which you are seeking at this stage. So that we
Absolutely.
pass those directions.
Deeply obliged. Thank you. Thank you.
My lord, Senior Advocate Meenakshi ma'am is appearing online.
My lords, this is the Manipur matter. My lords, we're pleased to pass directions on 4th of December 2023 for the displaced students. Now, my lords, these are 59 students, and we are now into the next year, and we haven't been able to get admission. The learned solicitor was kind.
For the
He
government,
said,
actually.
I get to appear, Malas. We have found some solution to the Malas, some of the students' grievances that came to us after your lordship's last order of 17th of May 24. But my lords, for dental, we are yet to find solutions. If your lordships will call this next week, I'll file a status report on what solutions we have found for the Manipur University students. And for dental, we will come up with a proposal. It's at the final stages, my lords. Kindly call
We'll
it
take it
next
up
week.
on Monday then. We can take a.
My
we can
lords,
tell them what we have done.
my lords, I have a request. I have a request for my learned colleague on the
On
other
Monday
side.
then, we can take a.
Certain solutions that have been